Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming today. Today, we are going to talk about different topics. We'll have several sessions, and we'll start with the workshop from Certic that will explore different mitigation patterns and best practices that can reduce the risk of both building and usage of Web3. And later we'll talk about opportunities in AI and Web3 infrastructure with several partners, AWS, Polyhedra, and Xtereo Games. So without further ado, hi Connie.
Hey Vic. Hi everyone.
Nice to having you, and thanks for coming. So today you're going to discuss about essentially how Certic battling the different risk of Web3 and the journey that both the company and their partners and the ecosystem undergoes through these challenges from year to year. I think, like we all know that every time we have different pattern, different protocols, the space has experienced an explosive rise, but without, of course, the risks. And the stage is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Vic. Let me share my screen. Then we can start it from there on. Can everyone see it? Okay, great. Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Connie. I'm from Certic. So right now I serve as like a head of a solution architect. And today, thank you so much for the great opportunity from BNB Chain for the invitations. Just want to sharing some of the security insight where we are getting the lesson learned from the battlefield. And today's session will be a little bit different compared to the other security smart contract vulnerability. We still want to bring up some of the not quite popular security challenge, but still a really big concern if the developer, when they're programming or maybe like developing the application in which they are not paying attention to. And today the session will be covered like pre-compiler contract, how to handling the popular token decimal, and also some of the EVM compatibility security issues. And at the end, we definitely will want to share also like how BNB Chain has been evolving some of the proposal in order to improving their security for the entire network as well. So the first one is pre-compiler contract. Pre-compiler contract is a not really popular as like a standard smart contract, but they actually is really important because they are pre-built. They are designed to pre-build the smart contract within the blockchain node. And the good thing is that they can help to providing lower the cost of some of the complex like library functions in order to helping to optimize some of the core or maybe like improving operation, etc. Some of the character is like the pre-compiler contract serve as like a smart contract where they have an address and you can also see on the block explorer. They are natively built, which means they might be faster than the regular smart contract in which is executed on top of the virtual machine. And also like it's really good because these smart contracts are developed built in at the protocol level, meaning that reducing the cost and executions hesitations, and also in helping to increasing the performance. And at the end, like pre-compiler contract also helping to standardize some of the functionality across the user so that they can use it natively without any need additional dependencies as well. But given there is a lot of a great size of the precompilers, but in order to developing a new precompiler contract, it might also introducing a new security fault when people are not paying attention. And in the downside, like precompile contract, once it got affected, it will be widely impacting the entire ecosystem because it's built in from the protocol itself, meaning that each of the upgrade of fix, it has to require the entire network to be upgraded. So this is a very costly operations. And in here, we can share one of the example where the precompiled contract might causing a issue. So this example, giving a little background, is this is a EVM compatible smart contract platform that were used in the substrate. So the program, the figure from the right hand side is a function call implement in Rust that we're trying to calling a precompiled contract. And the root cause where like we highlight the sessions here is the main reason why the precompiled contract causing the issue is when people implemented, they didn't adding the restriction call to the precompiled contract in order to handle the precompiler contract functions. In here, like this is a trying to have like a ERC 20 precompiler functionality. And the root cause here is like people forget to adding the restrictions, and then they were just using a very dangerous or even like really powerful low-level call, which is the delegate call, in order to calling or invocate the precompiler contract. And that would be also directly calling the storage from the other contract. So if this is like exploited, the attacker can directly able to use this in order to manipulate the contract allowance and or maybe like fund transferring functionality immediately. And how this happened? Let's take a closer look into the attack flow. So in here, you will see that attacker first, it create a trap contract, which also calls like a malicious contract, right? And then they will deploy it on the chain, on the blockchain, and they was trying to sending the phishing link to the victim. So when victim didn't pay attention that the contract they interacting are not from the official accounts, they would just like, okay, use it as regular. And that once the user interacting with the trap contract, right? So the contract itself, it will having the delegate call to the ops code where it's like called 0802, which is also known as a ERC20 instance. And in this case, it would directly execute the approval functions in order to making the accounts allow to, to taking the transaction or maybe the transfer approval behave of the user in order to making the transfer. And at the end, the user be able to dream out all the fund from the user account using by calling the function transfer fund functions. So in most of the times, delegate call, this is a very commonly operation, which is really powerful. But in the downside, it has been leading to a lot of vulnerability. So when we using the delegate call, we have to pay attention no matter it's like a smart contract or precompiler contract. So in the case that just mentioned, the issue is really easy to fix just by disabling the delegation call, or maybe like we should review, cautionly, is that like delegation call is a intended functions to allow the user to be using in a customized, precompiler contract. So, and second raised issue is handling the token decimal. Right now, we're seeing a lot of application trying to building from one ecosystem to the other one, and tokens decimal, people might not be really aware. Like different chain might have a different decimal handling. So in here, token decimal are the way that smart contract to present the decimal number, since the number are usually present as like an integer. Different contract might have a different definitions in here. We just like using this two example display the USDT and USDC as a later example. But the problem here is incorrect accounting on the decimal could cause a very seriously miscalculation and can possibly result in a lot of financial loss. So let's taking a example here. So as we know, the stablecoin USDT and USDT has a different decimal unit in Ethereum and BSC. This could be vulnerable after linking their usage, especially on a contract that transferred directly from BNB Chain to another one. So the code spinner here, this is what we learned from one of the lesson is that you can illustrate that the case where the token decimal are not properly handled in the code. In the calculation for the price, we can see that the amount of the cap payment token is divided by the total sales token value. So meaning that a user, when buying a sell token using an 18 decimal with a USDT as like a payment token, the code will be okay on the BNB chain since that USDT is 18 decimal. However, if the same code is deployed and using on the Ethereum, it will cause the problem when the decimal setting for USDT in Ethereum is 6. And this could be leading to the integer truncation in the divisions operations. And since the decimal using the payment token, which is the USDT, is less than the decimal of the sales tokens. So we have to be really attention when we just make sure that we double confirm the end unit is the same. If not, then we have to do another way of handling this type of situations. The other topic is more related to the EVM compatibility issue. So in many times, EVM compatibility, people might think about it's the same as is equivalent to the EVM. But in the real case, this is not. EVM compatibility refer as like the ability to execute a code that is supposed to be executed on the Ethereum blockchain. And EVM compatibility also means that there is a slightly difference presenting when we compiling the code and the code that need to be modified in order to have a fully functions within the EVM compatible chain. So developer has to be aware of what are these differences when they porting their smart contract from one to the other one. Ignoring the difference, it might causing some of the property can bring a very serious security risk to the contract. So the area of the concern in here, when people are considering when they're developing application, they need to pay attention on some of the obstacle instructions. Because some of the obstacle might be appear in one of the chain, but might not be the other one. So just taking this one example is push 0. So push 0 is a command, it's an obstacle that were added after the Shanghai upgrade. So it might not be really widely adapted to any other EVM compatible chain as well. And this could be also causing an issue when people not pay attention, and it will, from the migration standpoint, right? They just simply deploying contract without this notice, and it will causing like a migration issue between like one to the other one. And the other area that people need to pay attention when they trying to deploy contract in different EVM compatible chain is like the gas cost, because some of the instructions are quite different gas costs compared to each of the individual one. And we will also have a later session to explain what are the benefits between BNB chains and the other one. And this is another attention area is the EVM compatibility on the block property sessions. Like the block property is really be cautious when people trying to use it in a different term. But in here, the first things that we need to pay attention is block.gas limit. In Ethereum, the gas limit is around 30 millions. But in BNB chain, this is 140 millions. Which is like almost like 4 times greater than the Ethereum in this aspect. And because of this design, with a higher gas limit, BNB chain actually can accommodate more transactions and allow the transaction with a higher gas usage to run it on the network. And the other one, the second one is the block.chain ID. The block.chain ID for ETH is the mainnet code is 1, and for BNB is 56. when people developing a smart contract, if the same smart contract are deployed it on the same network, and a typical one that need to pay attention is with the signature verification process. If the chain ID is not a part of the payload to be signed, then this is possible for the same signature payload to be reused on a different chain. And this is typically what we call the replay attack. And it has been causing a lot of exploit in many projects on Ethereum when they're switching to the other, or maybe like bridging their contract to the other chain. So just make sure and ensure that the chain ID is used when constructing the data to be signed. And then the third one is the block dot difficulty. This is something very interesting because we do see some of the developer trying to use this block dot difficulty in order to generate some of the pseudo random number. However, there is some slightly difference in terms of a block dot difficulty setting. For the BNB chain, the smaller integer, this is a very small integer in order either like between 1 or 2. But compared to ETH, proof of work consensus, this is actually they use a very large number. So it has to be cautioned when we're using like a smaller number. It would be easier making the random pseudo number generated to be predictable. So in this case, it would be easy to be manipulated if we didn't handling this case in a complete predetermined situations. So we just share some of the really unique or maybe like not really popular security issue that were from the battle lesson learned. And in here, even though this is not really a popular vulnerability, but it also causing a large amount of exploit. So this is why we want to share the example here. The later on, this slide will be also giving some of the insight about what the BNB chain or the BEP has done in order to improving their security aspect. So before we dive deeper into the sessions, let's get a background about what is a BEP, Binance Chain Evolution Proposal. These are the proposal that used for proposing a new feature or maybe like for upgraded functions to the BNB chain. So community members are allowed to create the proposal and including the discussions or maybe the approval process within it. The common topic for BEP usually used for technical standard, parameter changes, governance process, and also the function enhancement as well. So in here, definitely would love to bring up two of the proposal that were come across how to increase the security enhancement. The first one is the BEP 171, which is the security enhancements for a cross-chain module. We have a lot lesson learned from previous year about the cross-bridge exploit and things like that. So in this effort, BNB is really going providing a more safer cross-chain bridge design in order to ensure the user funds and the experience. In this proposal, it introduced a series of improvement and with a focus of the two biggest signature aspect, which is called the ICS 23 standardizations, and also introducing the time lock. So this is a really great apply for the benefits of this protocol is apply for the general universal formats for the cryptography proof for cross-chain communications. It also helps to prevent or maybe like increasing the attack cost when people having like a large cross-fund transfer higher than the predefined threshold of the fund, then they allow to set a certain threshold. This is really great function because it increasing the cost of attack for attacker. And the other one is also like cross-chain transfer factory can be more automatic inspected to suspend the cross-chain transfer in case of any forged transfer. And it also allows validator can suspend or canceling the function in some of the emergency situations. So as a whole, this is in general a overall improvement from security side, including the automatic mechanism and also the exploit detections and increasing the cost of attack. And the other one is the BEP 126, which is introduced the fast finality mechanism. For the BNB chain, this mechanism use a BLS signature-based voting system among the validator and significantly reduce the risk of the chain reorganizations. And this leading to improve the transaction security and finality. This is great to making like the introductions, introduce the fast absolute finalized mechanism using by the validators. Once the validators has finalized a block, the block cannot be reversed even with a 51% attack. And external application like exchange or DeFi, DApps or DeFi, the app can rely on fewer confirmation and it can be come across with a faster finality without much worries on the security. So this is pretty much all the lesson learned and sharing today. And thank you. Looks like you are.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much for coming, and this was very insightful content. And from maybe to the end, from your perspective, like besides following this design patterns, how or be aware of them, what maybe perhaps like an advice you would give for developers who are either joining the Web3 community or moving from network to network. There's also sometimes even being very good at one network, then moving to, for instance, from Solana to EVM network. This is completely different world and people don't realize it. So what advice would you give to those?
Yeah, so thank you so much for your questions. As we know that this kind of a breach, security or maybe like this kind of a cross-play operation has been bringing a lot of attentions on the exploit. So one of the recommendation is first maybe we can definitely revisit all the existing attack that has been done in the past. And second, I know that BNB Chain has been working a lot on the education and maybe putting on the standard. And they has been set up what they call a BNB Chain security program, which has been standard some of the good plotters and also guidelines support from from a developer perspective, what they need to be done before they starting the developing the application, and until what they have to done after they making their product deployed on the chain, and after that also how they're going to do the security operations. So this has been shared up a lot of not just people what they need to pay attention during development phases, but there is a lot of things that we can do later on. And also after the smart contract got deployed on chain, it also can adding a little bit more monitoring feature to make sure that the operation are intended as expected. When they're seeing any abnormal activity, you should be able to capture. And I know BNB Chain has a one called Avenger DAO affiliate, which can be adding a lot of support from the community in order to helping to generate alert, or maybe adding bots to capture some of the suspicious transactions, things like that. So this definitely would be a great resource where people can check it from a BNB blogs website.
Thank you very much for your response. And do you see that the hacks got more elaborate, or we still getting the same reentrancy attacks that we saw 2 years ago? Is this like still the same thing, more of the same, or like, are we actually seeing like more on the protocol level, some kind of assembly hacking, like very like sort of like unique expertise going on, or still phishing, like sort of like vanilla hacks that we all, in quotations, like know and love?
Yeah. Given the question about the re-entrance attack, I think because it has been causing a lot of issue, and a lot of educational pieces has been emphasized. Also, we do see a lot of improvement from the compiler level on the smart contract side has been tried to preventing all this issue. We do see the trend are getting lower, but now re-entrancy attack, it also come with a new type of attack. It's like a read-only re-entrancy. So it's like the new attack vector keep evolving as well. But it would be strongly recommend people, just emphasize, make sure that reviewing all the attack pattern, because we do observing a interesting data is that, or maybe behavior is when people keep mentioning this type of attack in a certain period of time, most of the issue will be eliminated. But after that, people kind of forgetting what happened, and then the attack pattern, or maybe this type of attack will be coming back. And the same thing apply on the scam and phishing. I think a BNB chain definitely has care a lot on the community. They keep emphasize, people to be pay attention and caution. So we do see a lot of decreasing from the BNB, but arising maybe on the other new type of ecosystem. But again, this is still ongoing educational pieces. People need to pay attention especially when they interacting with the ecosystem. Maybe they can subscribing some of the alert on the Twitter, and from certain perspective, we also have a Twitter account to keep sending some of the attack alert, including the phishing, the scam, and also social engineering information. So maybe people can definitely subscribe at those valuable social media channel.
Thank you very much, Connie. Thank you for coming, and hope we have more sessions like this, and we'll be happy to come to searching sessions as well. The next session we will be having is around AI and Web3. So we'll have several speakers here, and this will be like a side AMA event. And so I think we have everyone already in the group. And so today we are having Avner from Polyhedra, Waymin from AWS, and Michael from Exterior Games. So thank you everyone for coming, and I guess let's start with a little bit of introduction about what do your companies do, and I guess like in AWS, like what's like specific department that you're working with. I mean, how does it work in terms of with the Web3 and AI? So let's start with Michael from Exterior.
Hi, nice meeting you. Thank you, Vic. My name is Michael, and I have been in the game industry for about 20 years, working in different companies, including NetEase and FunPlus, and has been publishing games, making games, and investing into games. So that's about me. And for Exterior, we are right now building a host of tools for all the Web2 or Web3 game makers, for them to try to get the users, and also the tools that can help them to make it more efficient to build games, especially for games that we're working on some AI technology that can help them to make games more efficiently and more more fun. And we ourselves are also building some games, and we can talk more about the games later. Right?
Absolutely. And Waymin from the AWS.
Hi, thanks, Vic. It's nice to be here. I work on the AWS Greater China startup team. and my team has actively engaged with Web3 startups for the past year or so, and we've been helping a variety of Web3 projects, and we work closely with Web3 ecosystems, including BNB Chain, to help grow the Web3 space. And starting this year, and as everybody knows, that generative AI has been phenomenal, and we've been working closely with generative AI space as well, and it's become a major narrative in Web3 as well. So it's thanks very much for having me here to talk about AI and Web3. Thanks.
Thank you. And Avner from Polyhedra.
Hi, Vic. Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I'm Abner, the CEO of Polyhedra Network. So it's our great pleasure to join the discussion. So currently, Polyhedra Network, we are working on building the most efficient zero-knowledge proof protocols to increase the interoperability in for the entire Web3 space. So our team has designed and implement zk-Bridge protocol, which is a fully trustless and efficient cross-chain interoperability protocol based on zero-knowledge proof. And it can also be used in the trustless and secure communication between heterogeneous systems, not only for layer 1, layer 2 blockchain networks, but connecting off-chain systems or consortium blockchains or even AI system with the Web3 world. So our team has designed and implement the most efficient zero-knowledge proof protocols to significantly accelerate the proof generation for different systems. And currently, we are also working together some AI companies and projects that look for that our system can also work together with the large-scale AI system. That it would be great that we can discuss together on the front-end development on both zero-knowledge proof technology and AI and machine learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Avner, and we'll get more into details around how does these two technologies work. But beforehand, perhaps Michael, so how do you see the integration of AI and Web3 technologies creating new opportunities? So you mentioned AI with Web3 gaming. So how does that work? How is it different essentially from any other bots that were not good enough? But I think if we talk about Counter-Strike or things like this, or Warcraft, there AI has been in the gaming for a while. So how do you see this change?
Yeah, when we are talking about AI in this year, I think a lot of us are actually talking about transformer large language model, AI. I think, of course, used to be, we are talking about AI like the bots that we see in games, and also the bots, well, in a lot of Web3 spaces as well, right? But, in terms of large language model, I think I can focus more in the game side. So, I mean, of course, when you see, for the games, a lot of these games, in the past, we have to write down or to design the script for all the NPCs and, the non-playable characters. And it's a lot of work. And it's also very under a limitation that, the design is very limited because it involves too much work, right? So with the AI, it is actually more possible that we can see a lot of random event happenings because of AI, and we don't need to actually write those scripts, but we almost train these NPCs, with an engine, with a controlled world setting, and also with a controlled emotions. Then it is possible that the AI can help them to be more fun and remember, what you talked with them and things like that. And of course, on the other hand, we all know that AI we're not talking about is like the use of Mid Journey or Stable Diffusion, right? And it's actually a lot more efficient when we are communicating between the designers and the artists, because in the past, let's say I'm the designer, I want to ask the artist to give me a concept art, and then it takes 5 days for him to draw it up, right? And then I tell him, no, this is not exactly what I want to change this and that, right? And that takes another 5 days or so. But with AI, I can generate my concept art first, and then I tell him, this is kind of what I want, and then you can help me to do this and that, right? And it makes the communication or iteration time much more efficient than before. And of course, on the other hand, we're also seeing that, like large language model or transformer language model is more likely that not just the concept art that we might be seeing from text to 3D, we are seeing libraries of animations like expand exponentially. One of the guys that we have who is designing the motions or animations, now he used AI to build his library, and it's expanded like 10 times more than before. Because he used to have all his work and and friends and so on to have a library, but this library is like not big enough. Now it's expanding exponentially with the help of AI, right? And there are a lot of things that we can do with AI in terms of game makings, because I think I kind of represent the game makers here, so there are a lot of other things that AI can do in other spaces as well. I'm sure that Abner and Wei-Ming can explain a lot more.
I think like a little bit follow up. So you mentioned how you as I would say like a producer or project lead of the gaming project could play around with the AI tooling like to get some kind of idea. How do you see it like in terms of don't you doesn't create like a choice paralysis where everyone just comes to designers with their own ideas, and the same with animations. Now you have like 500 different types that you may choose. So does it actually like make it faster, or now that this is like very, very easy to do, it makes it even like it just shifts the problem or the work from working to actually choosing?
Yes, in some way, it's more like the work becomes now a choosing rather than just acting, right? Because of course, with AI, I would say it can generate somewhere around 85 to 90 percentile of work. Percentile meaning like how good the artist is, right? But obviously, it's not going to beat any top artist like within 10, 15%. And so we can ask AI to do like a lot of them, and then we choose, okay, this is kind of the thing that we want. But for some artists, of course, they have to like, okay, I know what you want now, because previously you have to write it down, and they never know what I want actually. I just write it down, and then I give them some reference and this game and that game, and but artists obviously they want it to be original, right? So now they are like much more clearer than before. Right.
Thank you, Michael. And if we move to AWS, so Wei-Ming, what do you see the current challenges for startups might face when they both integrating in the Web3 and AI or together? Like, how has it changed, or like does the space become more complex in terms of both the tech stack and the overall flow of information within the organization? You're on mute.
Okay. That's a good question, actually. I'd like to start with a little example from it's an example from Coinbase. Actually, everybody knows Coinbase is one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, and one of the biggest risks for exchange is fraud, and machine learning has become the base of the anti-fraud system. And Coinbase, the engineering team in Coinbase uses Amazon SageMaker to provide experience for the consumers while securing the environment. What they did was that they developed a machine learning system that recognized mismatches and anomalies in the source of user IDs to quickly take actions against potential fraud. A face similarity algorithm automatically extracts the face from the someone uploaded ID, and it compares them with all of the faces in other uploaded IDs, which can quickly detect forgeries. But the risk management is only one side of the story. And the interesting part is that the data warehouse gathers enormous amount of data from various microservices, including blockchain and the user data. So that's hundreds of terabytes altogether. But since Coinbase operates in a highly regulated environment, so the company takes extra measures to ensure that custom data is protected, even from its own data scientists and engineers, which means that any code that runs on Coinbase production servers has been code reviewed and looked at by multiple sets of people before it goes into production, which means that restricted access to data in a highly secure environment makes doing machine learning that much harder. So that they overcomes this challenge by allowing machine learning engineers access to the data log only via code that's been thoroughly reviewed and committed into a Amazon Elastic container registry, so that their machine learning engineers can't actually log into the server and run code that hasn't been reviewed. So at the end of the day, that in Web3, digital cryptocurrencies rely on the trust for their existence. So, and companies like Coinbase, they rely on a lot of resources like AWS to build and maintain that trust by working to consistently stay ahead of risks. So trust is one of the key, or is, if not the most important challenges in this industry. And yeah, that's what I see in this when you combine AI and Web3. I think you must have a lot of follow-up questions, so I'm ready for that.
Okay. And Avner, so zero knowledge proof systems are relatively new, even in the blockchain world. Like not many people, not people understand blockchain. So, but even less people understand zero knowledge. So, what are the advantages do this technology can offer in terms of when we look at into privacy and security of the AI usage and the overall AI use cases?
Yes. So currently we have some use cases, some important use cases for zero-knowledge proof to apply in blockchain and Web3, such like the zero-knowledge proof system to scaling the existing blockchain system, like scaling Ethereum and BNB chain using zero-knowledge proof, such as ZK rollups and ZK EVM. And also, we are working on the interoperability side, that we are bringing fully trusted and efficient zero-knowledge proof protocols to connect heterogeneous blockchain network, different layer 1, layer 2 blockchains by using zero-knowledge proofs. And the same things may also happen on AI systems for AI and machine learning. And currently for ZKML, it's also very hot. It's a very hot research topic, and has already applied in some use case. So from my point of view, so zero-knowledge proof technology possesses two primary strengths. So first is about the privacy preserving. The second is about the compression. So first, for the compression refers to that the system's capability to condense extensive computations into a concise, constant size zero-knowledge proof. So this feature is instrumental for enhancing blockchain scalability and interoperability, as I mentioned before. So such as the infrastructure like ZK Rollup and ZK EVM are used for blockchain scalability, and also ZK Bridge, designed by Polyhedra Network, used for the interoperability between the layer 1, layer 2 blockchain networks, and even the Web 2 service infrastructure like AI system with the Web3 systems. And also the compression of the zero-knowledge proof, the benefit can also be applied in machine learning that enable the zero-knowledge proof to verify a large machine learning model in the future. And the second benefit of zero-knowledge proof to AI ecosystem is about the privacy. So privacy ensures that no sensitive user data is exposed during the proof generation, paving the way for private-centric application such as private transfer, ZK-DID, and ZK-ML. So for the machine learning, machine learning model, so we can protect the user's privacy for sensitive data.
Thank you very much, Avner. And I guess like when we talk about generative AI in particular, and also like in the regular one, the old one, we can when we talk about privacy and compliance. So how does AWS ensure that AI and Web3 infrastructure adheres to ethical or legal standards? And I know like in ethical, like it's only like we're starting to get into these issues. It's still not clear even like how these issues should be handled. But from your perspective and like on the broader maybe like either roadmap or some existing features that AWS can offer in terms of how do you see like this kind of landscape in terms of so I can use SageMaker, but what if later I'll get some kind of ethical issues like I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I know that generative AI has made everybody worried, excited, and also worried. It's not that the industry, but I think the whole society is concerned as well. I think it's a great question that privacy and compliance and so with AWS. We believe that you customer, you control your data by using AWS services and tools. And you determine where your data is stored and how is secured and who has access to it. So you have the full control. And I'd like to share some interesting numbers. The first number is 0. In AWS, we say that security is job 0, meaning that protecting customers' data at rest and in transit is more important than any number 1 priorities. So it's always job 0. And the second number I'd like to share is that 143. That's the total number of security standards and compliance certifications that AWS supports. That we support PCI, HIPAA, and GDPR to satisfy almost every regulatory agency around the globe. And the third number is that over 300. We provide over 300 security compliance and governance services to support your privacy implementations. So, for example, I can give a couple of examples. Amazon Macy is a security service that uses machine learning to locate and categorize and protect sensitive data in Amazon S3, so that any sensitive data can be automatically protected. And the second one is the sensitive data protection on AWS solution. allows enterprises to create data catalogs and protect and visualize sensitive data across multiple AWS accounts. So you see when sensitive data is transferred. So about generative AI, I'd like to share some interesting latest developments. It's like about 10 days ago, Amazon, among 7 top AI companies, have voluntarily pledged to take significant steps to ensure safety, security, and transparency in AI development. They vow to ensure the responsible use of AI for the benefit of society. So some of the highlights is that to work to identify AI generated material, potentially through features like watermarks, so that people know it's AI generated, and to involve experts to evaluate the security of AI tools before making them available to the public, and promote information sharing regarding the best practice and attempts to bypass safeguards, and allow third parties to search and report any vulnerabilities in our own AI systems, and of course, and concentrate on developing AI to address societal challenges such as climate change and disease mitigation. And also regarding the generative AI platform that Amazon Bedrock that was announced back in April, there are a few features I'd like to highlight. First is that we believe that the most important feature is that we design Bedrock with comprehensive data protection and privacy, so that you can customize foundation models privately, retaining control over how your data is used and encrypted, and you make a separate copy of the base foundation model and train this private copy of the model, and your data, including prompts, the information used to supplement the prompt, and the foundation model responses, and your customized foundation models remain the region, and any data is encrypted and remain in your virtual private cloud, so that you can trust that your data is remain private and confidential. I think that's the key differentiator that Amazon Bedrock brings, and together with that, you can secure your generative AI applications with AWS key management systems, and encrypt the models, and you can use identity and access management service to control who has the access to your models. And also AWS provides comprehensive monitoring and logging abilities to address your governance and audit requirements, and so much and so on. But with that said, like security, privacy and compliance is a shared responsibility between AWS and the customers. So that in this shared model, AWS responsibility is privacy and compliance of the cloud, and the customer's responsibility is privacy and compliance in the cloud, so that we and the customer have to exercise extremely caution with that privacy and compliance overall.
Well said. And I think when we talk about regulation and self-regulation, there is no better regulatory body than salty gamers. So, Michael, from your perspective, like, how do you see ethics and the usage of generative AI in the gaming industry? Like, gamers in the past were very against even copycatting the idea or using the generic models or from the market, from the marketplace. Everything needs to be designed specifically, adhere to the gaming or to the game culture, to the game ethos. So how do you see, like, it is a useful tool in terms of, as you said, idea generation, but it several people did suggested that this is somehow reuses the existing ideas rather than creating something entirely new. So have you had any issues with that, like either from within the team or from the gaming community, that you see that ethics is an issue of usage?
Yeah, I think you're right. There are definitely a lot of players who really respect originality, and indeed a lot of developers, and most of the developers obviously really respect originality as well. I think what the use of AI is that I think there are two camps in some way. On one is that all the materials that are being trained into the AI models, they have to be somehow some kind of original, or at least IP free. Is IP cleared, right? So that whatever you get from the model, it's is clean, right? And it's not a copy of anyone. But then on the other hand, of course, there are people who are more, I would use the word liberal, right? So even though what is being trained in the AI model can come from many different places or many different materials, that might not be like totally got the authorization from the original creator, right? But no matter how, it is important to know that what is being generated is original, right? At least it's not a copy, or it doesn't remind you of something of some other work, right? I think one of the tests that is being used in court before AI, which is talking in general, is that when someone is going to sue the defender, let's say I created a piece of art, right? And then someone is suing me, the plaintiff is suing me, and then I will use that art and give it to, I don't know, 10 or 20 laymen and look at my art. And then they will say, oh, it doesn't remind me of that art, right? Mm-hmm. Or when they make a comparison, it doesn't remind me. Then they say, okay, the plaintiff would not have a very good chance of suing me, right? Or winning the case. So I think that test, even in the days of AI, makes sense to me. So on one hand, I wouldn't say, like if there is no intention of copying something like directly, you can look at the things that is being trained in the model, you can look at the prompt that you used, and then seeing the result of that art. And if that art doesn't resemblance or doesn't remind me of, or it doesn't remind, say, 20 laymen's of some specific arts, then I think I would be on this camp. But of course, some other people would be on the camp that is like, in the model, it has to have nothing about anything that is like someone that has done before, right? But I'm not sure, because I would say, I will of course argue also that a lot of the artists, there's no way that you cannot like blind your eyes from the world, right? All artists, music makers, composers, artists, they are influenced anyhow by some other art as well, right? So we can see that the AI is kind of, they watch your art, and then somehow they have some idea about your art, but it doesn't mean that it has no originality. I think the intention and the result is important. And so I would be on that, kind of in that camp at this moment, because some AI is so new. I'm not sure if I will change my mind later, but at this moment I'm all kind of on this camp. And I think for the players right now is that, I mean, if I see an art that, wow, it definitely reminds me of, let's say let's say if you the prompt is, I want an Iron Man suit in an anime girl, right? Obviously, it's not going to it's going to have problem with it, right? And the artist is going to look like Iron Man, and then the prompt you're already using some other stuff, that is obviously a problem. But I think players would definitely know, right? And players' eyes are very, very sharp. They know what is coming from AI. They know what is coming from, like original art. And but I think players is also a very good judge, right? All the players together, and I think people will know the intention or the result of the art.
Thank you very much, Michael. And if we go back a little bit to the infrastructure of the Web3, so Avner, the recent generative AI landscape has proven to be very dynamic. And so this is very different, I guess, like from the how blockchain was built to, like, with the vision of blockchain that like we have to be immutable, let's do things permanently. And when both the models change so fast, and whether we're talking about the training on the weights, or even like as Michael suggested, prompts or different other things that spur the creation of the data and assets. So how does how do you see both the blockchain and ZK technology in particular stay adaptable and like sort of like future proof for these changes? How do they adapt themselves into them, like from the rather shifting, or is it possible or not? So from shifting the mindset from let's secure the block for it to stay forever, to we have something, business models that change on a weekly or like monthly basis. So how do we make sure this technology is adaptable? And also to add on this, on the sizes, so the models and the training set are enormous. So we're talking about gigabytes and terabytes of data. Even for the model itself, the model for ChatGPT is 70 or 140, depends on which model we're talking about, a billion of parameters. And this essentially translates again like to the around 100 gigabytes of data. How does the ZK proofs and work in this kind of environment where you have to, even like if you want to prove the authenticity of the model of 100 gigabytes, like is it even possible, or how does it affect everything?
Yeah. So currently, I think that the zero-knowledge proof can work together with the AI system. And there are many reasons, as we discussed. That first is about the data privacy and the security, and also for the integrity of the model. That with zero-knowledge proof, that we can the zero-knowledge property is important for the privacy and security of the AI model, and also for the sensitive data of the user. That the zero-knowledge proof would allow us to hide the parts of the input of the user data, the sensitive data, and also the models, the parameters in the models. A good example is that to applying a machine learning, deep learning model, or large language model that on some sensitive data, where a user would be able to know the result of the model, the integrity of the model on their data, but without revealing their input to any kind of third party. So this is what zero-knowledge proof technology to help on the AI model. So currently, we face challenges for the ZKML, or to handle very large model. So addressing data privacy and security in AI can for the privacy can use zero-knowledge proof. However, we face challenges that existing zero-knowledge proof system face the limitation of speed, so making them insufficient or inefficient for practical AI inference models and applications. Like you mentioned, for the large language model, it's a huge model and huge amount of user data. So we need very efficient zero-knowledge proof protocols. For polyhedral network, so we are keep pushing the boundaries of zero-knowledge proof to improve the efficiency. So we are continuously innovating to overcome these limitations, ensuring the blend of both robustness and efficient to apply zero-knowledge proof in AI. And polyhedral network, we present some of the most innovative and efficient zero-knowledge proof systems in the industry. And we believe that these protocols can be used in large AI models in the future. Pioneered by our co-founders, these innovative and efficient zero-knowledge proof protocols employ techniques that completely differ from the traditional methodologies like Planck or Groth-16. Leveraging this groundbreaking technology, we have achieved speed enhancement by orders of magnitude, such like we can accelerate the proof generation of the zero-knowledge proof to apply them in different systems like currently our ZK bridge, and in the future, maybe large AI models. So currently we are able to prove the full consensus of Ethereum within only 10 seconds. So for each block of the Ethereum, it has probably more than 20,000 BRI signatures. So we can generate the proof within 10 seconds to the state of the full node of Ethereum, that each node, so the full node of Ethereum has more than 22 million Ether stake in the whole Ethereum POS consensus, and for each block, there probably be more than 20,000 validators. So we can verify the BRI signatures for the validators within only 10 seconds. So this proof system in the future can also be used in AI, that allowing the zero-knowledge proof technology to verify the large AI models. But currently, maybe we still need to improve the speed. So first is that through our innovative zero-knowledge proof protocols, and also we are also working together with the companies working on hardware acceleration, that in the future, so the zero-knowledge proof technology can also work together with GPU or even ASIC accelerations that further improve the speed. So this will allow zero-knowledge proof to verify the large AI models and to enhance the security and privacy of the system.
Thank you very much, Avner. And when we talk about I guess like the rapid change of the recent AI models, so question to you, Waymin. So I was amazed when Meta has released Llama 2 model, and I think it's like got to AWS SageMaker within hours. But even funnier, that I wrote this question 1 week ago, but yesterday we have another model released by the Slam group, which is called New Hope, which supposedly surpasses Llama 2 for sure, and almost reaches the threshold of ChatGPT 4. So I guess like now, like as from yesterday, now everybody will run to the newest model. How do you see this race in terms of I guess like there is a lot of resources takes for the company, both like to integrate the model, to verify that again like that it is compatible with everything, with other tools, and after 3 weeks here comes another kid in the block, and now everyone is excited somebody else. So how do you see this? I guess like like innovation to the extreme. I would say like this is not even funny no more. Like things are changing on weekly basis. And for the I get like AWS is a huge company and it has their own processes, and naturally that make everything working sufficient and securely. But when you have so much progress within such a limited time, uh, how do you cope with it? How do you work? How do you work there?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, can I say, actually, I don't know that how AWS works. It's like you said, it's huge. I can only share what I know. Like you mentioned that, yes. AWS has been working closely with like open source projects, foundations, and partners since its inception. So AWS has been a platinum level sponsor of the prestigious Apache Software Foundation, and we've partnered closely with leading open source companies like from HashiCorp to MongoDB to Confluent to Red Hat. And we also offer promotional credits for open source projects to allow them to perform upstream and performing the testing and CI/CD and etc. In the field of AI, we've been a long-term strategic partner with open source like model hubs like Hugging Face. Even before this hype of generative AI, back in 2021, AWS deep learning containers started deploying Hugging Face models on Amazon SageMaker, and making it very easier both for inference and training. And AWS has partnered with and supported open source model providers like Stability AI since the very beginning. It literally grows on AWS, and we are very proud of that. And also on AWS SageMaker, there is a jump start. I don't know if Vic you've used it. It's where you can get the up-to-date models. It's a machine learning hub with foundation models and built-in algorithms and pre-built machine learning solutions, etc., that you can deploy with just a few clicks. So it's very easy, and it has foundation models from popular providers that are fully customizable, and hundreds of built-in algorithms with pre-trained models from popular model hubs. And also back in April, we announced Bedrock, and a few days ago at AWS Summit in New York, we added some new models to it. It's like we added Cohere, Command, and Embed, and Anthropic's Cloud 2, and the Stability AI's Stable Diffusion XL 1.0. That we continue to add new models to respond to developers' requests. And also, Amazon has purposely built machine learning accelerators, AI chips, namely, we call Trainium and Inferentia, and we continue to make them available for the latest models to offer great options for developers for high performance and lower costs. And you can run now both Stable Diffusion 2.1 and 1.5 on Infra 2 cost effectively, and AWS engineering teams are literally working round the clock with model providers and model hubs to bring the latest models to our customers. I think it's really, yes, like you said, it's really challenging for both AWS and the model providers. But we believe that in order to advance AI to benefit the whole society, we're willing to sacrifice sleep. Okay.
Thank you very much. It was very insightful. And for those who are looking to use the newest models, then as Wiming said, you can use SageMaker and ideally get the newest ones from the community and to try them out and see if they fit your purpose. And Michael, I guess back to you from the consumer side or the user of this like algorithms, models, innovative solutions. How, from your perspective, how do you see? You mentioned that you tried out Stable Diffusion, so now there is a newer version out. How do you suggest projects and individuals to get updated on the field, to how to try different things, to whom to listen, like, because there are literally like the social networks are filled with you're not using this tool correctly, use another one, here are 5 best tools ever, and this is like on daily basis. So how do you choose these technologies, and do you have a certain like checklist, or can you please share with us?
That's a very hard question, right? I am a normal person. I'm also very lazy, lying on my bed and reading a lot about this social media and tell me, no, this is the new AI that you should be using. Don't use whatever ChatGPT you have been using. But basically, I feel like 90% of them are not very true. I feel. So, okay, I think a few things. Of course, one thing is learn from the masters, right? I mean, people who are really, really into this field. I think it's important, right? And I hope today maybe we can, we are sharing something new to the listeners, right? And but there are obviously a lot of other masters that we also we are learning from, right? And our second thing is go into the Hugging Face, right? Every time you see, oh, there's a new model coming out, and oh, this is going to beat ChatGPT or whatever, right? And then if you look into Hugging Face and then the top 10 data sets or the top 10 is still the same old one, right? So how is this new one's going to? Because this is where like the community or the masters are playing with, right? So go to these places. Or I haven't been to the like an OpenAI store, things like that. But Hugging Face is something that I would recommend, and I will also look at it as a reference as well, right?
Like this the scoring board, you mean?
Yeah. So like if there's a new one in the social media saying that this is going to beat everyone, and it's not even showing up in the leaderboard in Hugging Face, then it's probably not very true, right? And things like that. But otherwise, yeah, definitely, I also feel that I'm losing behind sometimes, and always talk to people who are more really expert, right? Making friends with people who are really in the industry, who are like building large language model, who are in, let's say maybe a community manager in Hugging Face, right? then you can the most forefront information.
And of course, listening to podcasts like this,
this
will also help.
Yes, of course. Yeah, follow you on Medium or something.
And from your perspective, what like last thoughts about the future of AI and the Web3? Like, where do you see this in like even like in 1 year? I think this is long enough. 1 year. Let's take it 1 year.
I really don't know. It's changing by the week or by the day. So I just some personal thoughts on this. A few thoughts that both AI and Web3s are still in the very early stage, and we may have heard the buzzword for years, but it's really in the early stage, especially Web3, considering its short, very relative history. And looking back on AI, it has its ups and downs, and it's not until the deep learning that Geoffrey Hinton that has literally revived that what we are experiencing, like transformers, which there will be ups and downs down the road. So we'll stay focused and we don't lose confidence in that. And secondly, I think the infrastructure needs to improve dramatically for both AI and Web3. Like Abner said, ZKML, it's a wonderful idea, and but AI and Web3 still there's a long way to go in the infrastructure aspect. We still need to improve both for AI and Web3s. Web3s, there's one obstacle for the mass adoption is that the user experience is not up to the expectations. And so is for AI. So we have to work hard to make it happen. And like Michael just said, the reason we have Web3 is that we want the creator economy to boom, and with generative AI, I think it's a killer combination that creativity will soar, and in the end of the day, we'll see lots of content, but the high quality content will rule, will be valued. So we have to, to know how to distinguish high quality content from the sea of lots of AI or humanly generated content. And last one is that I think it's maybe a new development paradigm. So it's a generative AI is going to make a low code and no code more popular or usable. And because a study by Gartner predicts that by 2024, low code and no code will account for 65% of all application development. And another study by McKinsey found that low code development can deliver 10 times increase in productivity. But generative AI and no code may be converging, but producing code with AI is not for novices. No and the low code solutions may be good fit for non-technical users, but generative AI is more suitable for development work requiring high level expertise. So they're for different group of people. But one of the most significant benefit of generative AI is that its ability to bridge the gap between low code and no code environments. So it kind of democratizes development process and opens up opportunities for a broad range of individuals to participate in building the technology solutions in addition to the content creation. So that's my some of my personal thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Waymin. And Avner, you mentioned a few developments that some of them are still not ready fully, but some of them are. But if you talk about in the span of, I guess, 1 year, what do you think the exciting opportunities that the use cases of both AI and Web3 and Zig in particular can bring together if we look like 1 year ahead?
Yeah, so we can forecast that both AI and zero knowledge proof and also Web3 will have great development in the next 1 year, because currently we are entering into an infra summer, that different kind of infrastructure keep building in the current Web3 and even and also AI industry. So we think that so Web3 and blockchain and also zero knowledge proof can help AI technology. So because AI is its core, so the core of AI heavily rely on the data. So conventionally, individuals have had to upload their data to the centralized AI model, and with custodians effectively surrendering their data ownership rights, and whether they wonder whether they should put their data to give it to the service provider or not. But without Web3, with blockchain technology or with zero knowledge proof technology, we can handle this problem. This paradigm may shift. Users can maintain their own ownership of data. That is very important. While AI model can access and benefit from data that individuals are comfortable sharing, this fosters the transparent environment where users have a comprehensive understanding of how their data is utilized and how the model is performed computation on top of their data. So, and also we can also apply the decentralized governance in Web3 to different AI model and also in the AI industry to further improve the transparency, and also the efficiency and also the privacy of the entire AI industry. And also on the other hand, AI can also create lots of value to Web3. So as we discussed about the generative AI technology, it can already be applied in many very useful use cases for Web3, such as we can use the AI technology to help us to generate the content for Web3, such as the NFT metadata, the images, and also for the Web3 gaming, we have some different NFT for the Web3 gaming that each user has his own ownership of the equipment in the Web3 gaming, and for generative AI, it can help a lot for the developers in AI that they no longer to spend so much time on designing this kind of equipment or NFTs in gaming and also in metaverse. So in metaverse, even the AR VR technology work together with the metaverse can generate an entire landscape, the scenario for the metaverse. So every user can have his own experience. And furthermore, so the large language model can also be applied in many use cases, such as they can help to audit code for smart contract that can help us have a better security of the entire Web3 space. And also for the DID scenarios, like the recent launch of WorldCoin, that also have a decentralized economy that incorporating both AI and also the blockchain technology. So we believe that in the future, there will be more and more synergies of AI technology and blockchain technology. And it would be great that the developers can work together. And it's very important that we can apply a modular design in when we are implementing our services, because the most beautiful things for Web3 is that it's about the composable, the modular, that different system and application can become a building block of another system, so that Web3 can be the building block of AI, and AI can be the building block of Web3.
Thank you, Amner. And Michael, Waymin mentioned about the try to sift the content in the sea of newly generated ideas and later on games. I guess like in the gaming world, there was also a friction between the big production companies and the sort of like the SMBs, the indie game production. And how do you see the generative AI will assist to shift the balance in this world? Will we see the influx of somewhat auto-generative games, both in the traditional gaming and in the Web3, or this is rather than just like the content will be just more, like as you said, like better, and the iteration and will be just more refined rather than like, are we talking about quantity or quality in the end?
In short, I actually think that quantity might also lead to quality, right? If given like a huge amount of quantity. But I would say that related to the other questions that you have, I actually can see at the end of the day, the advancement of AI is more like a liberation or democratization of knowledge and into some extent some skills, right? To give an example, a lot of people, obviously a lot of people are they might lose their job, or that specific job is going to be gone, right? Sometimes. So I was talking to one of the animators in my company, like maybe 6 months ago, and then I said, animators are the one that is going to be replaced fastest by AI, right?
Ouch.
But then
to his face, you said this?
Yeah, I mean, we are friends. We're friends for 10 years. Like we're very like he's been with me on 2 or actually 3 companies.
Mm-hmm.
So we know each other very well. And I said, and you really need to prepare yourselves and learn something new, right? And then so 2 things that he did is, one, now he actually he cannot program something, right? But he knows much better about like technical artists and programmers through AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he also up-leveled his knowledge because of AI and how these guys work, all these things, right? And then I actually mentioned earlier that he used this AI technology to build up his library of the animations of the characters. And so I think he is really using AI to his advance, even though his original job might also be replaced by AI someday, right? But I think he's a good example of someone who take advantage of the democratization of or the liberation of the knowledge or the skills, right? And so I would imagine one day, a lot of the independent developers, especially those who have very good creativity, but wasn't able to, show it or produce something. Let's say his art skill is not very good, but he actually has creativity in his mind, right? But he wasn't able to communicate with others. So now maybe he used AI to help him or her to not just communicate, to show something into the game that without the help of an artist. But he's a very creative person, and maybe one day when the programmers, like the program parts can also be done with AI with like 100% now. I mean, I say maybe like 60%, right? And then he can use the program and the arts to help him or her to actually put in the creativity into the games, right? And in the past, it's just not possible. He has to work with someone else and communicate, and he might not be hired, or he might not be able to find someone who can help him. To help him. So I think it's going to be interesting, and of course, at the same time, there will be 99 games that is like kind of crappy, right? But there will be very good games coming out of the quantity as well. That's how I look at it.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for coming. So today we had Avner from Polyhedra, Waymin from AWS, and Michael from Exterior Games, and we talked about the different use cases that AI and the Web3 can become combined. And let's see if the predictions of these use cases will in fact fulfill themselves. Stay tuned to our channel, and feel free to follow the participants and the companies and their work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.